of Adam. This was put together by an art studio to get the actor's attention. This looks pretty good there, actually. You see, he's going to be in town filming a new movie, and they, of course, would like him to stop by. Yeah, who wouldn't want George Clooney to stop by, right? The name of the show is Grannies on Safari. The hosts were taping their program in Egypt when a revolution broke out. They're going to share that remarkable experience with all of us, and it is quite a tale to tell. We'll share it with you right after this.
Hey, Pete. Yeah, it's me, big brother. Put the remote down and listen.
This intervention brought to you by Niaspan.
So you cut back on the cheeseburgers and stopped using your exercise bike as a coat rack. That's it? You're done? I don't think so. You told me your doctor's worried about plaque clogging your arteries. What do you call it? Coronary artery disease. That cholesterol medicine he also wants you on? Niaspan? I looked it up online. Hey, Pete, you waiting for an engraved invitation?
If you have high cholesterol and coronary artery disease, and diet and exercise are not enough, Niaspan, along with diet and a bile acid binding resin, is FDA approved not only to slow down plaque buildup, but to actually help clear some of it away.
Pete, as kids, I always looked up to you. Now I'm just trying to look after you.
If you cannot afford your medication, call 1-877-NIASPAN. Niaspan is not for everyone, like people with stomach ulcers, liver, or serious bleeding problems. Severe liver damage can occur when switching to Niaspan from immediate-release niacin. Blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you have muscle pain or weakness. This could be a sign of serious side effects. This risk can increase with statin use. Tell your doctor about alcohol use if you've ever had gout or are diabetic and experience increases in blood sugar. Flushing, a common side effect, is warmth, redness, itching, or tingling of the skin. Ask your doctor about Niaspan. Fight back. Fight plaque. Niaspan.
Professional driver on a closed course. Do not attempt at home. Always wear your seatbelt. Please, drive responsibly.
It's the most fun you can legally have. See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for exceptional offers on the C-Class.
You use the healing power of touch every day. Now the healing power of touch just got more powerful. Introducing Precise from the makers of Tylenol. Precise pain-relieving heat patch activates sensory receptors. It helps block pain signals for deep, penetrating relief you can feel precisely where you need it most. Precise, only from the makers of Tylenol.
It is coming up on half past the hour. Welcome back. I'm Randi Kaye. Thanks for starting your day with us. We are glad you're here. Checking top stories, the budget standoff continues in Wisconsin. 14 Democratic lawmakers left the state to prevent a vote on the governor's proposal to slash benefits for state employees. National Tea Party leaders are joining the fray later today, and President Obama called it, quote, an assault on unions. As for the federal budget, the House of Representatives passed a government funding bill early this morning after 4 days of debate. The Republican-backed budget cuts more than $60 billion in federal funding. It now moves to the Senate. And Somali pirates are holding 4 Americans after boarding their yacht in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The U.S. military confirms the 4 were kidnapped Friday. A piracy watchdog group identifies the seized vessel as one that belongs to Jean and Scott Adam. U.S. military officials are keeping a close watch on that situation. Okay, let's catch you up on the latest developments out of Egypt this morning as the nation enters a second week with its president out of power and the nation's military in charge of running the country. Late yesterday, Egypt's High Council of the Armed Forces literally outlawed any more demonstrations, saying ongoing protests are hurting the economy and also threatening national security. The edict comes on the heels of 2 Iranian warships that were allowed to navigate through the Suez Canal yesterday, a move that put the country's new military regime in a pretty prickly position with its Israeli neighbor. 2 grandmothers from the U.S. found themselves right in the middle of the conflict in Egypt. They were taping their PBS show, Grannies on Safari, when the revolution broke out. They're okay, but they have quite a story to tell. We'll talk with them in just a moment, but first, take a look at their show, Grannies on Safari, and see for yourself why these women are not your ordinary grannies.
You want to try it on? Susan, you want to try it on?
You want to try it? I take it out.
Will you hold it in the back for her?
Tomorrow.
No, I think you should do it today.
Grannies on Safari, Regina Fraser and Pat Johnson join us now from Chicago. Good morning, ladies, to both of you. A few weeks ago, you certainly found yourself in the middle of quite a mess there in Egypt. Remind us just very briefly, Pat, if you would, about your ordeal and how you managed to get back.
Well, we hadn't planned to be witness to a revolution, but that's how it turned out. We were with a small group of individuals. I think there were 14 of us all together. A few of our friends and fans had decided to go to Egypt to take a little jaunt down the Nile River, and we were caught up in the beginning of the protest movement, and were there for, what, 10 days, weren't we, Regina?
For the total amount of time, yeah, 10 days.
And how did you end up getting back? I know you were originally in Cairo, and then I think you boarded a boat or something like that.
You know what? We were stuck in Luxor, and you know how we got back? We had been, luckily, Randy, I have to say thank you to you, by the way. I received a call on my phone from someone from the State Department, and they said, CNN gave us your phone number, and we're coming to get you. And they did. They came and they got us, and that's how we got back. So I got to thank you personally, Randy.
Well, we're happy to help.
I don't know if you gave them the phone number.
Well, I don't know who did, but I remember we had you on and we talked about your ordeal. Let me talk about this whole experience with you, because I think a lot of people wonder, wow, you know, they made it through this. But what was the takeaway? I mean, I would imagine you've never been stranded or stuck like that before, Regina.
No, we haven't been stuck like that before. And, you know, I think the biggest takeaway for me personally was we went to a country that seemed to have what I think was a civil rights kind of a freedom movement. We were there. It was very historical. We saw what the people were saying, and we were scared a lot of the times. But the takeaway was that it isn't always all bad, that if you're prepared as a traveler, you have to recognize the culture, you have to roll with the punches, and in our case, know that our government will help you.
Yes. We were evacuated a few days after our initial response, and so we were very happy about that. We did leave Luxor. We did not have to go back to Cairo, because Cairo was the seat of most of the activity.
Right.
So we flew from Luxor into Athens, and were greeted by members of the embassy, the U.S. Embassy there, which we were quite startled. We didn't expect that.
They must be big fans
Athens,
of Grannies on Safari.
Oh, you know, the ambassador was wonderful. He said, I've watched parts of your show. We both were like, that's cool.
Well, listen, let me get to some tips before we run out of time here. One of them, for others who might be traveling, I mean, hopefully they're not going to find themselves in the position that you both were in, but what is your advice in terms of traveling with prescriptions? I know you have good advice on that.
Well, my first suggestion would be sure to have your prescription drugs with you, not in your checked luggage, but in your hand luggage. And also, make sure to have a copy of the prescription just in case something gets lost and you need to refill it. So that's extremely important.
Yeah.
And I understand that you recommend traveling with dental floss because it comes in handy, Regina. Why?
Because you know what? If you have to wash out anything, any undies or others, you could take that dental floss and string it in the bathroom and use it as a dry line.
It's strong enough for that, really?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Wow, that's pretty good. What about your cell phone? I know it was hard because certainly in Egypt you didn't have very good, they'd shut down the internet, they'd shut down cell phone service, but the cell phone clearly key when it comes to travels, whether you're caught in the middle of a revolution or not.
You know what? It was our lifeline. I was able to text, and I could get some calls because otherwise we were really just left to float. Yeah. I tell everybody, don't leave the country without checking with your cell phone provider to make sure that your phone works. It could be your only lifeline, so I'm really big on that.
Well,
indeed.
That is really good advice.
I should also say that yeah.
We'll have to leave it there. I know you have lots of other advice, but we're just happy to see you both back home and to see you both safe. So welcome home.
Well, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Great to see you. And you can see Grannies on Safari on your local PBS station. Regina Fraser and Pat Johnson, great to see you again, and you'll have to catch their show. It is a football rivalry gone very wrong. The trees at Auburn have been poisoned. Yes, poisoned. An Alabama fan is under arrest. And today, Auburn supporters are gathering. We're going to find out what exactly they have planned and if it's even possible to save these amazing trees.
So you got a Chevy Malibu. Nice. A Consumer's Digest Best Buy 3 years in a row and an EPA estimated 33 miles per gallon highway. And what does your neighbor have? A bad case of car envy.
My wife and I want to lower our cholesterol, but finding healthy food that tastes good is torturous.
Your father's suffering.
Honey Nut Cheerios cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
Be happy. Be healthy.
I'm in pain.
I'm Katie, and this is George. I'm allergic to cats.
We asked Zyrtec users what they love about their allergy relief and what it lets them do.
I love that because of Zyrtec, we can all stay together as a family.